Well, originally we were up front. And I'm just going to be honest and keep it real. They probably didn't think that we were going to do well because we were a minority group. So no one knew who we were. Let's put them in the back. You know, if we put them in the back, nobody will see them, you know, and if it doesn't work out, you know, they're all the way in the back where the trash is at anyway. And to find out the oasis is in the back instead of the front.
Our family from this area. That's our cousin house right there, the yellow house. Her father had a store that was right across the street. They tore it down now, but so we grew up in this area. So when they placed us here, it was like a blessing. They thought that they was putting us back in the hole, that, you know, nobody can see us, and we ended up creating this.
We're like more like a learning facility to really teach people how to do it. But you can purchase food here. You know, you can, and through Groupon and Amazon.com, you can get a package.
We operate a CSA, Community Supported Agricultural Program, where members from the community can sign up for either one of the 3 tiers, gold, silver, or bronze. And based on their membership, they can come and pick up food weekly that they would take home and consume. We've provided food to local restaurants, Chef Wells and many of the other local chefs in town come and source our food.
Since 2004, me and Damien were having a conversation in my yard. He was asking me, we had someone that died in our family, and he was like, Dave, what do you really do? I was like, cause what you see me do is what I do. All this growing food that I can never eat by myself, I always give it away. I said, I do the same thing your grandmother did, you know. And he said, you know what, we need a farm. So that was in 2004. I was 32 when I came back. I left when I was 16 and came back when I was 32. So to help take care of one of my parents who had diabetes. That's another reason I take a great interest in the food business, because both my parents are deceased from complications with diabetes. And welcome to Rittal Partnership Urban Farm. This is where we're at standing now. This was the very beginning part of it here. So some of the landscape, I'm also a landscaper too. So my passion really was landscaping over growing food. But my dad told me, yeah, the yard looks good, the grass looks good, but I think you suggest you come back here in this backyard and help me till this soil, because I know you like to eat too. So that's what got me into the vegetable part of it. But basically, I really like the landscaping. And most of the plants that you see here all came from out of my yard. I've just been repropagating them, and so we never had to buy anything too much. So all these hostas, all that stuff, most all of this, except for this is our orchard here. Okay. But there's an apricot here. I don't know if you got a chance to see. We had some students down here from Shaker Heights they never saw. They didn't know where actually fruits and vegetables come. They thought it came out of a bag and at the grocery store. Until I showed them, this is what it looks like.
We just harvested 45 pounds of kale greens yesterday from these beds here. We're constantly planting and seeding the beds. We put in small seedlings of various types of plants throughout the season.
We operate 4 hoop houses. The average dimension of them is 30 by 60 feet. And in each hoop house, we're able to produce on average over 1,000 pounds of produce per hoop house. And that's per season. And we'll typically grow, because of this style growing, we'll typically grow at least 3 crops a year, a spring, a summer, and a fall. And even using a technique we use with our hot mix, we can grow a cold winter crop even in the winter time. So we'll take a couple of the greenhouses or hoop houses, and we'll do kale greens, collard greens, and lettuce over the winter without no external heat source, just using the wood chips and the compost as a heating mass.
Which is a combination of the wood chip you see here, coffee grinds, and bare waste. Those 3 in combination create like a biochemical reaction inside the pile. So that it's like it heats up in friction. You know, they're really consuming themselves at the cellular level, and so the heat that emanates from there is like 170 in the core, but at night the heat can emanate to 40, 50 degrees and keeping the room above freezing all night long.
It's all about education. That's why our educational program is so huge, because people really have to be taught about healthy food. Most days, many folks, particularly in low-income areas, are making food choices with their wallet. I can buy what I can afford, instead of making an educated choice based on knowledge of the food that they're consuming.
Many of the people in this community, this central neighborhood, have a terrible health disparity. I mean, huge. I mean, one of the largest in the country. I think it's like #2, Cuyahoga County, and it's #1 in Cuyahoga County. Is that there's a 29-year disparity of life expectancy between the people that live here and those that live in neighboring communities, less than 8 miles away. And at the same time, the infant mortality rate is really off the chain. It's like 5 times the national average here in Cuyahoga County in the central neighborhood. And so when you consider that, people really they're not experiencing longevity because of a myriad of nutritional deficiency diseases. And the diseases that they do have, they create oxidative damage, inside the body. So they need antioxidants and things to build at the cellular level. So we grow a lot of the greens, a lot of the beets you see here, Swiss chard. All these things have an enormous amount of nutrition, and not just nutrition on its own, but because they're fortified by the soil we produce. See, the soil that we actually create is huge in terms of depositing minerals and nutrients back into the food. So the proof is in the pudding. I mean, the taste, and also like the steroidal effect that when they grow.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, look at that. I mean, that's only within a month. So those beets are ready. They're huge. I mean, they look like sweet potatoes. See, these are the kind of things that the soil can produce. And this is why our whole campaign about soil, the Soil Brothers, and all the whole the concept relative to fortifying our bodies with nutritionally rich soil first. But if it's not in the soil, it can't get in the food. We've eaten empty food for the last 20 years for everybody's sick.
Yeah.
So it just kind of fitted our criteria to start entering that space based on how we could utilize it in our community to help from a standpoint of health and wellness, job creation, education, and here we are. That's all I can say is that, I mean, it's been a journey, but it's been a good one. It's been fun, and it's based all on our work.
The impact has been huge. We like to use the word transformation because we believe that that's the real business that we're in, is transforming communities. As society has shifted and the economies have changed, a lot of neighborhoods got left behind. So we believe that we can go into those neighborhoods and transform them from desolate to places of hope. This area that we're in now, the Kinsman area, which was called the Forgotten Triangle, is now referred to as the Urban Agricultural Innovation Zone. I mean, what a switch from a Forgotten Triangle to an innovation zone. And now, since being here and creating a permanent footprint here, now you'll see families coming to the park for holiday cookouts. You'll see families of single parents coming walking their dogs in the daytime. You'll see picnics. You'll see children come out and play at the playground now. So not only did we revive an area and make healthy food available, but it expanded out beyond that to now creating and bringing to life a whole community that was dead and forgotten. The residents take great pride to say, I live in the area where the urban farm is, where Ridall is. Now, where maybe a resident wouldn't want to say anything about where they live, now there's a sense of pride, which we believe that also in long term will help increase property values. So now what started out as growing tomatoes turned into salvaging a playground, bringing life into a new neighborhood, and could go as far as increasing property values. I mean, what a huge benefit, to this type of work. When urban ag became, the new thing, there were a lot of doubters. And to the point some farms did fail because they say it's not sustainable. It's good, it's humanitarian, but it's not a business model. And we want to be that one project that continues to push back against that idea and say, you can run a successful urban farm using standard business practices and make it work. We got the greatest commodity because we know that everybody's going to need to eat. Food is the longest relationship you'll have in your lifetime. Make healthy choices and you will see a quality of life maybe that you didn't before. And all of those things affect your general overall health condition.